Despite Ulrich's concerns, on Monday morning, Nathan prepared to head back to school. He woke up at the crack of dawn. His bags were packed, and, in a way, he looked forward to moving back into his room at the Academy of the Mystic Blades. He spent the morning's journey to Godricshall contemplating what his future might look like. He wasn't sure, though, how he felt about stepping back on the campus, the same place where the impudent Jason Clay had almost killed him during a sparring match, the same place where the powers that be left him to die out on that field. Resentment filled every bone in his body. Finally, he approached the gates and navigated his way through the bustling local capital city until he reached his school. As he entered the academy, throngs of students crowded the hallway, happily chattering before the bell rang. The moment Nathan crossed the threshold of the double doors, all eyes turned toward him. Silence fell over the hallway for a moment, followed by the buzz of conversation. With his improved hearing, Nathan eavesdropped on his classmates' hushed whispers.
"I thought he was a goner for sure. Can you believe he had the nerve to show up here? Why is he back?"
Over it all, a loud and boisterous voice rang out through the school hallway.
"Nathan Hayfield! Surprised to see you here. Is the hole in your head fixed?"
Nathan turned to see the voice belonged to Merrick Symington, one of Jason Clay's cronies. Merrick was only a level 2 beginner, but he had no qualms about hurling insults, because anyone who made a move against him would face Jason's wrath. Nathan, however, wasn't the same old Nathan everyone knew.
"You know, Merrick, you've got a big mouth. Stick a sock in it. I don't want to hear you so much as mention my name."
The jaws of other students fell open. This was not anything like the old Nathan would have ever said. He was timid. He was weak. They marveled at the profound change that had come over their classmate in the last couple of months while he recuperated at home from his critical injuries.
"You're asking for it, Hayfield,"
Merrick continued to taunt Nathan, just as he had in the past. Merrick was a bully, and Nathan knew this, so Merrick's behavior was nothing new. Of course, unlike the other students who had picked up on Nathan's newfound self-confidence, Merrick remained blissfully unaware that this new Nathan was not to be trifled with. No sooner had Merrick uttered Nathan's name a second time than Nathan grabbed Merrick's wrist and twisted forcefully. Crack! Merrick's wrist bone snapped, making a loud cracking noise that onlookers in the hallway could hear. Nathan cringed. He had apparently twisted a little harder than he had intended. Still, he didn't regret putting Merrick in his place.
"Oh!"
Merrick doubled over and held his broken wrist with his other hand. Sweat beaded on his forehead, and his arrogant expression turned to one of fear. He took several steps backward. Nathan sneered.
"Go cry to Jason Clay. I'm surprised he's not here, defending your honor."
A hint of self-satisfaction glimmered in Nathan's eyes as he reached down and grabbed his bag. He headed to his room. As he walked away, he heard Merrick yell,
"Just you wait, Nathan. You'll get what's coming to you."
And then Merrick moaned in pain. Nathan's acute hearing also heard the comments of some of the students.
"My God, what happened to the wimpy Nathan Hayfield? What did the healers do to him? He's not the same person. Is he out of his mind for beating up one of Jason Clay's close friends? If you ask me, he's just asking for Jason to finish the deed this time."
But all of the students agreed that Nathan had undergone an astonishing transformation. A small smile quirked up on Nathan's face as his fellow students marveled at his increase in power.
"And that was just a small taste of what I can do."
When he reached his room, he breathed a sigh of relief. He had worried that perhaps the headmaster had assigned his room to someone else. Instead, he found the room just as he had left it. He dropped his bag on the bed and unpacked. Whoosh! The door to his room opened, and Baylor Graham barged in. Nathan didn't have many friends at the academy, but Baylor was one of them. They had grown up in the same town and had known each other since kindergarten.
"Nathan! You're better! You're back!"
Baylor grinned from ear to ear.
"I went to your house to see you, but your father wouldn't let me in."
Nathan motioned for Baylor to shut the door so they could talk in private.
"I know. He told me you stopped by, and I appreciate it. Father was just being a little overprotective while I recovered."
Baylor gave Nathan a playful nudge on the shoulder.
"What are you doing back here? I honestly didn't think you'd ever come back."
A crease formed on Nathan's forehead.
"Why not?"
Baylor shot Nathan a knowing look.
"Because, you almost died here, and Jason is still here? I didn't think you'd want to have to ever face him again."
Nathan shrugged.
"He doesn't scare me anymore."
Baylor's eyes went wide.
"I guess not. I heard about your run-in with Merrick in the hallway. What the heck? You know that picking a fight with Merrick will just put you back on Jason's map. He'll put you in your grave if you're not careful."
Nathan raised an eyebrow.
"Baylor, I'm tired of tiptoeing around everyone. Besides, what about you? If Jason and his gang see you talking to me, aren't you afraid they'll come after you?"
Baylor rolled his eyes.
"Look, you know as well as I do that they don't see me as a threat. For whatever reason, you're the one they've chosen to pick on."
Nathan's face grew serious.
"I know, but Baylor, still, it might not be a good idea to be seen with me, especially after the incident this morning."
Nathan walked over to the door, opened it, and ushered Baylor out. He hated treating his friend so curtly, but it had to be done. He didn't want him to be caught up in a feud between himself and Jason Clay. As soon as Baylor was outside of the room, Nathan turned the lock. Baylor stood outside the door, wondering what had just happened. He knocked on the door and spoke quietly so that others could not hear.
"Nathan, listen to me. Why are you being so stubborn? Please, I don't want to see him hurt you again. Let me help you."
Nathan told him to go away. As Baylor walked away, he mulled over Nathan's behavior. He was at a loss. Frankly, Nathan didn't seem like himself. Something about him had changed. He exuded confidence and power. No doubt, Nathan planned to take on Jason Clay, and that could spell disaster. He decided to let Nathan cool down a bit before speaking with him again. Inside his room, Nathan hung up some of his shirts. Remorse gripped his heart because he felt bad about kicking out Baylor, who had been nothing but a good friend. He knew that Baylor was only trying to look out for him, but Baylor failed to understand that Nathan could now look out for himself. The last thing Nathan wanted to do was involve Baylor in what could shape up to be a nasty fight with Jason Clay. That afternoon, Nathan received word that the headmaster wanted to see him. He followed an assistant to the office of Headmaster Drogan Blackwood. Nathan scowled as he walked to the headmaster's office. This was the same man who allowed Jason Clay to continue beating up on Nathan even after Nathan had yielded. Nathan blamed Headmaster Blackwood for allowing the sparring match to get so out of hand that Nathan almost died. The guy was a conniving creep, whom Nathan suspected was on the take from some of the noble families, including the Clays. When Nathan entered his office, the headmaster coldly assessed the boy from head to toe. "I was notified that you have returned." Nathan shrugged.
"Yes, today is my first day back."
Headmaster Blackwood narrowed his eyes. "Have you recovered completely? Your injuries were critical, and I don't want you coming back if you are not 100% healed." Nathan kept the loathing he felt for the headmaster out of his voice.
"Yes, I have recovered."
He wondered if the headmaster could detect the change in him. No longer was he the meek and obedient student he once was. Headmaster Blackwood pressed his lips together. "You know, I heard about your altercation this morning with Merrick Symington. Did you know that you broke his wrist?" Nathan pursed his lips.
"Yes, I figured as much. It was an accident. I didn't mean to twist so hard. I guess I underestimated my own strength."
The headmaster nodded as if he understood. "Nathan, you can't just go beating up other students, especially students who are friends with Jason Clay. You already know Jason has it out for you. Why tempt fate?" Nathan grimaced.
"Sir, whose side are you on? Instead of telling Jason to stay away from me, you're telling me to stay away from him?"
There was no doubt in Nathan's mind that the headmaster was collecting payments under the table from the Clay family. For what, Nathan didn't know, but he didn't trust Headmaster Blackwood as far as he could throw him. The headmaster glared at Nathan's insolence. "As long as you are here at this school, you must abide by my rules, or else I will have no choice but to kick you out." Nathan nodded.
"Just like you abided by the rules of the sparring match? When an opponent yields, all fighting must stop. You taught us that, and you, as the official overseeing the match, must enforce that rule." The headmaster's anger turned into a scalding fury, but he kept his voice steady. "How impudent you have become ever since your so-called recovery." Nathan didn't bother to acknowledge the headmaster's last statement. "Sir, may I be excused? I would like to return to my training if you no longer need me."
Headmaster Blackwood motioned with his hand toward the door. "Off you go, but stay out of trouble, or you'll wish you never came back." Nathan's blood boiled as he exited the headmaster's office. The man was infuriating. To top it off, the man was corrupt and held no regard for the students. Of that, Nathan was certain. Nathan went straight to the training field. There, he worked on his Asura magic, starting with the Asura Eye and the Asura Fist. Much to his astonishment, he broke through to beginner level 6. After his work on the Asura Eye, both of his pupils slightly glowed with a purple light. That was progress. The morning, Nathan rose at the crack of dawn. He knew that practicing early in the morning yielded better results than at night. He didn't really know the reason for this. He just knew it to be true. Today's workout focused on mastering the razor finger. He pulled out his small knife to use. Summoning all of his inner strength, he aimed it at a small copse of thin trees in the distance. They topped. His Asura magic had cut through them like scissors through paper. He silently cheered.
"Yes, I think I've got it down."
Nathan knew if he became proficient at the razor finger move, he could move on to learn the slaying blade down the road. The slaying blade was similar to the razor finger, but it was a far more powerful Asura spell. The slaying blade was a magic blade conjured up by his mind, and its purpose was to kill. This was a move he had regretted not learning in his previous life. This time, he would remedy that.
"Nathan Hayfield?"
A student called his name from afar and ran toward him. When the student grew closer, Nathan only vaguely recognized him.
"What do you want with me?"
The student gasped from running so quickly.
"Jason Clay has captured Baylor Graham! Come quickly!"
Nathan drew his brows together in thought. Something was off. He didn't trust this kid for a minute.